It's FWD Champions Day on Sunday at Jeune with the Chairman's Sprint Prize, FWD Champions Mile and the FWD QE2 Cup making up the 3 Group 1s with 2 World Champions on show as well. I'm Andrew Jeune. Welcome to our very special Champions Day preview. Please say I'm joined here in the studio by Cunningham and Steve Moran as well. And Steve, one of the world champions I speak of is Santa Ana Lane, currently the world's top-rated sprinter.
Yes, 124, which is fantastic that they've made the trip here, and couple him with Beauty Generation, of course, arguably the world's best horse with a couple of recent retirements. And Santa Ana Lane, it gives a real buzz to the meeting, and the QE2 Cup itself is probably one of the most competitive races you'll see anywhere in the world.
Yeah, we've got 2 defending champions back. Beauty Generation, looking for the Champions Mile. A couple of records on the line as well with him. And he is the highest rated active horse in the world as we sit here right now. And Pakistan Star, defending champion in the QE2.
And deservedly so with Beauty Generation. You've got 2 old news guys here, and you start thinking, Steve, about what your lead might be with a horse like Beauty Generation. Will it be 8 for the flawless season, 8 in a row, 9 in a row overall if we include this race last year? Will it be breaking Viva Pitaka's all-time Hong Kong prize money record, or perish the thought? Will it be arguably the biggest shock defeat since Silent Witness 14 years ago?
Yeah, well, it's a lot to play out over the course of the day. We'll look at the QE2 and Champions Mile in due course. We'll kick things off, though, with the Chairman's Sprint Prize and the all-important barrier draw as well. 10 go to post, headed by Santa Ana Lane. Hugh Bowman will be in the saddle. We'll jump from barrier number 10. Mr. Stunning from 3, Beat the Clock, is long-time rival from barrier 6. Little Giant from 4, Rattan from 9. Enzo's Land for New Zealand, unbeaten in Group 1 companies, 2 from 2. James McDonald from barrier 2. Vidora, also from Australia, barrier 7 for Lloyd Cannowell and Joe Bowditch. And then Mac Venus from Japan, Takatake in the saddle. He will jump from barrier number 8. Before we get into the race in a little bit more depth, let's look back to 2016. This was the first year that it was opened to international raiders, and it was taken out in some style as well by the Australian Chautauqua.
What a lovely horse he is. Very strong grey horse. Bit warm around, just on the neck near the breastplate there. Strong hindquarters. He's sort of a tad tense, I suppose.
He got quite stirred up. It was very humid over there, and he'd sweated up very bad. And he showed me that he was nothing like what he usually is leading into a race. So that was a big concern for me.
One of the most anticipated races on the calendar here in Hong Kong this season. 2016 Chairman's Sprint Prize, carrying international Group 1 status for the first time. What an amazing field it is. Race 7, Jeune set, and they're off, and Chautauqua was clearly the slowest out of the gates.
To go on and jump out and drop the bit on me and be 3 or 4 lengths out the back at the start, it was the only time during the race that I thought we couldn't win.
2 lengths away, last of all, is Chautauqua. He's a dozen lengths from the pace, and the pace is hot with Buffering driving through to lead now with Pedophobia.
Just Chautauqua being Chautauqua, he does his own thing, and he's very quirky, and as I said, got to the top of the straight and brought him out the centre of the track, and he changed legs and just mowed it home. It was incredible.
Aero Velocity put his head in front from Pedophobia. Strathmore, they're not listening to me. Lucky Bubbles, Chautauqua is winding up. Aero Velocity joined by Strathmore. Lucky Bubbles, Chautauqua still coming. Going to the lead, Lucky Bubbles. Chautauqua, here he comes, the Thunder down under. Chautauqua race to the lead. What a champion! Chautauqua beat Lucky Bubbles.
There's not many horses you get that feeling with, and he's one horse that he's shocked me time and time again on what he can do on a racetrack. And in Hong Kong, it's probably one of the most exciting wins you'll see over there. And that was like winning a gold medal at the Olympics for us. You know, it was we were representing our country, and we come out on top. So it was unreal.
An amazing performance, lives long in the memory. And Santa Ana Lane, I suppose, to a certain extent, is going to be trying to do something similar. Barrier 10, they'll drop in, they'll want tempo, and they'll be trying to come over the top of the lane. And
he has the same sort of finishing thrust, and of course he comes via competition in the Newmarket and the TJ Smith, which is precisely the races that Chautauqua contested before he arrived here. He is a fascinating horse in the sense that through the first half of his career, he was a decent animal, and we all thought he was pretty handy. I think we just have to accept that in the last 18 months he's gone to a new level. Whatever the reason for that is, I'm not exactly sure. It might be as simple as physical and mental maturity, but I look at him and I would say to you that of his past 8 runs, he's won 5 of the 6 that were absolute targets. Two of the others were fresh runs where I suspect he went in a fraction underdone, and the other was the Everest on a very, very bad track, very heavy track. So his record's nearly flawless in this past 12 months or so.
It would seem that Connections have taken advantage of the very generous odds that have been on offer about Santa Ana Lane in the past, because he has gone round. 7.5 he was in the TJ, and he blew them off the track. He will not be that price on Sunday.
He's been 25 to 1 for a couple of his big wins. Don't expect that this weekend. He can run destructive closing splits. And my slight reservation, and I want to ask Steve about this, does he really need a hard gallop to run at, or is he versatile in that regard?
Oh, I think he would certainly be better suited by at least a genuine tempo. If they really backed off, say from the 8 to the 4, and he was giving them 6-length start, that could be a little issue. I would think that the Japanese horse might take it up, Mac Venus. He pushed forward last start, drawn wide. I think had he drawn in, he probably would have led. He generally races on speed, and I would think that, Beat the Clock and Mr. Stunning are not going to nurse. I wouldn't have thought. I think they'd both be anxious to be trying to put the race to bed from the top of the straight. But it's all very problematical, isn't it, how this unfolds?
Last 5 winning distances in this race, half a length neck, short head, neck. So if we get a steady gallop, we could have a fairly chaotic finish. But I wouldn't worry about this horse having travelled to Hong Kong. He's travelled thousands and thousands of miles across different states in Oz, hasn't he?
Yeah, certainly has. Often by aeroplane, often by road, which would be a similar trip. 9 hours by road from Sydney to Melbourne with a horse, probably a fraction longer. And I think he'll cope with that. Sam Friedman, who I think we'll hear from, said that he just is one of those horses that copes with everything you throw at him.
All right, well, let's hear from Sam. Let's go inside this Santa Ana Lane camp with Sam Friedman.
Sam, Santa Ana Lane, how's he settled into Hong Kong since he arrived here?
Yeah, he's been really good. He arrived on Tuesday morning, and Will Stewart travelled over with the horse, and he's been really happy with him. He's just had a trot in Canada for a couple of days, and his blood results have been good. He seems bright and happy, and really looking forward to Sunday.
He's a 5-time Group 1 winner, including in the TJ last time out. Are you coming here with the best horse in the race, do you think?
Yeah, we think so. Look, we think he's got the ability to run sectionals that most horses probably can't, and if he produces what we know he can and what he has, in his 5 Group 1s, then he'll be hard to beat. But bearing in mind that, it's an international Group 1 and we're away from home, and there's locals here that know the track well, and they're seasoned and ready to go. So, but our horse is in good order.
So certainly some quite confidence, I think, about Santa Ana Lane. What can beat it then possible? Let's stay in Australia. Vidora, she's coming via Dubai. Good run there behind Blue Point. She's a 2-time Group 1 winner herself.
Yes, she is. I think we've probably seen the best of her. Her run in Dubai was satisfactory, but beaten a clear margin on a track which was surprisingly softish, even though they ran quick time. She would certainly want a genuine tempo in the race. I'd be surprised if she could win, but she's a very, very genuine and quality sprinting mare.
We've sort of talked about Nac Venus, but Enzo's Lad is another 2-time Group 1 winner.
In terms of romance, it would be hard to beat this story. I don't think he's particularly good enough, and I don't think he's going to lead. Having a quick chat with his trainer, Michael Pittman, this morning, he said he's a bit too lazy to actually do the donkey work himself. He'll want to lead, and Nac Venus might be the one to give it him. Good luck to him. It's great to see this cosmopolitan field, but I think we can look around the market leaders.
All right, the home team then, Beat the Clock and Mr. Stunning, very closely matched, but Ratton rolled the pair of them last time.
Yes, I thought it was a resolute win. He was there to pick them up, and he kept chasing. I know he had the 5-pound advantage, but to me that's only highly significant if every other factor is equal. If he's continuing to improve Ratton, which he may well be, given the switch back to sprinting trips, he's certainly not out of it. But the records of these two horses, Beat the Clock and Mr. Stunning, that's just amazing, isn't it?
They say they're not machines. High-class horses tend to be very consistent. And look at these two. It's 3 each and a dead heat so far. This is Mr. Stunning and Beat the Clock. The dead heat tells you the tale of two very closely matched horses. There's never been more than a third of a second between them. Beat the Clock has come out slightly the better in the last 2. But Mr. Stunning, I think, he sort of dug his own grave last time. 21.64 middle split. Just left no room for error at the closing stages of the race. That opened the door for Ratton, who's very, very powerful off a strong pace. I think Mr. Stunning and Beat the Clock may well beat Ratton this time, and there'll probably be that much in it again. I think Mr. Stunning might just have the edge.
All right, $16 million on the table, Steve, for the Chairman's Sprint Prize. Who gets the lion's share?
Well, I have to tip Santa Ana Lane. I'd be run out of my home country, Australia, if I didn't. And look, I think if he turns up, as he turned up for the TJ Smith or any one of other 4 recent Group 1 wins, he can beat these horses. Mr Stunning beat the clock, very little between them. And I'm a little curious about this talk of, perhaps the Hong Kong sprinters aren't as good as they once might have been. I wonder whether that's actually a reflection on the numbers, just that a few that have gone missing, high victories and honky prawns. Does it make beat the clock and Mr Stunning any less than extremely high-class talented sprinters? I don't think so. I think Ratton's got a little chance as well.
Santa Ana Lane the one to beat, Graham?
Well, it's a fairly simplistic view. Ask yourself this. Could Mr Stunning or beat the clock have won the TJ Smith in the way that Santa Ana Lane did? With all due respect, I'm not sure they could. I have to go with the Aussie here. Mr Stunning beat the clock and Rattan for 2, 3 and 4.
All right, that's the Chairman's Sprint Prize. Clean sweep for Santa Ana Lane. Next up for us is the FWD Champions Mile. Beauty Generation defending champion is back. He's unbeaten all season and he's staring down Viva Pataco's all-time prize money record.